yeah. Today's project is the Stihl 041 Farm Boss. It hasn't been started in years, so I think it's gonna need the full tune-up. First thing I'm gonna do is just go ahead and take this bar off. It'll be easier and safer to work on. This chain is definitely going to need to be sharpened. I'm going to see if there's any gas in here, because if it is, it's pretty old. It doesn't look like there's anything. Okay, so that's a good sign. Looking down in there, I can see a little bit of trash. It doesn't look too bad. I'm just gonna probably spray some carb cleaner in there. Looks pretty nasty. There was definitely some trash in there. Now I'm just going to blow it out with compressed air. Now it actually has a white bottom. This fuel filter looks good, so I think the bad gas was just at the very bottom. So I'm just going to hit this with some carb clean and call it good. This fuel line also feels pretty good. Now I'm going to check out the air filter and the carburetor. Woo. Yeah, this air filter needs a cleaning. Thing's a little dusty. Bunch of crap right there. It's not brand new, but it should do. Hopefully this carburetor had the fuel ran out of it. So once this lifts up, choke mechanism comes off. Now I'm going to try to get the pulse line off and the fuel line right here. I'm not sure if I get this off with this trigger linkage, but I'm going to try it. Oh yeah. Might leave that gasket there. This gasket looks like it's homemade. You can see how it's not perfectly round here. Someone probably did this with like a utility knife. This carburetor appears to be stock. It's the Tillotson made in Ireland. Hopefully it's going to be nice and clean inside. That was kind of loose. They're all kind of loose. I don't know if that's good or not. Kind of stiff. I don't want to break it if I can. If I don't have to. This appears to be in decent shape. It's kind of brittle. Might get a rebuild kit. We'll see. But looking at how clean this is, I'm probably just going to take this needle out and clean it. Probably won't mess with the high and low screws. The needle looks like it's in pretty good shape here. I don't see any big denting. Now we'll move on to this side, see how the diaphragm is. It's got a little junk in it. I guess it's like a little breather hole right here. Just gonna go real slow. Try not to break it. There's definitely some debris right there on that screen for the gas, so I'm gonna take that out as well. Well, I ended up sticking a hole in it, so hopefully I can find another one. I cleaned this up with carb cleaner and sprayed it out with compressed air, so to start off putting it back together, I'm just going to put my spring in and my needle. See if we can't get that. Make sure it all lines up. You just want to double check, make sure it's working. Make sure your spring is directly under this hole right here. Then you can put your gasket back on. Make sure it lines up. Slide this tip into this groove. On this side, I'm going to go ahead and throw a new gas screen in here. Okay, to finish this side up here, I'm going to put my gasket on and this diaphragm, just like that. It's time to put this carburetor back on. So I'm gonna remove this. I sprayed all this out, cleaned it up. This gasket was fine. I'm just gonna reuse it. Let's see here. Hook this in. We'll go ahead and hook the fuel line up and the pulse line. This pulse line here is like cracked, so I'm gonna see if I can replace some of this. I should just pull up here. Alright, got some line here. Let's see if I can get this one off. Yeah, that was easy. Match it, maybe a little longer. And this fuel line. Assuming that was probably meant to do that. Take the pulse line. Now let me put the pulse line on once again, and the fuel line. That also looks good. Gonna hook my choke up here. Choke's working. I think it's time to check for spark. You can already tell this might be the cheap spark plug. Doesn't look like it was running too bad. That's pretty brown. Gonna spray some WD-40 down here, just because it's probably been a while. Crank it over a few times. Feels good. Go ahead and check for spark now. Oh yeah, it's definitely got spark. I just noticed that I can see some copper wire here, so I'm gonna have to see if I can repair that. Good thing I made this fuel line a little longer. Can't get it off. There we go. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's pretty much just bare wire there. Looks like I can maybe just wrap it and then put this back. Okay, here's the final fix. It's not perfect, but should work fine. I found a bolt for this thing. Put my fuel line back now. It has spark, it has fuel. I'm gonna go ahead and check the compression now. Should have good compression. I have my throttle open, choke off. That's got about 150 pounds of compression, so should run good. I found a new NGK spark plug I'm going to put in. It's a BPM R7A. Well, should have spark, compression, and fuel. Gonna give some choke. Make sure that's the trigger's on here. See what she does. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Choke off. Good. Oiler's working. Alright, I think it's time for the bar and chain. Let's make sure I run with the chain on. And go no choke again. It seems to be running really good. I was trying to adjust the idle here and realized that there's no idle adjustment screw. So I found something that should work for now. Alright, see how that works. Happy with that. This chain is pretty much beat. All the teeth are very short, but I'm just gonna do what I can. Sharpen it up real quick. I was testing this all out and noticed that it had a pretty good exhaust leak. So I tore it back down to where we were before. I'm going to go ahead and take this intake off and this heat shield and see if we can't figure out what's going on. Okay, intake. This is going to need a new gasket here. Now I'm going to take this heat shield off. This thing is pretty dirty. That's going to need a new gasket too. Oh, and I think I see the problem already. Let me zoom in here. If you take a look here, there's no bolt on the back of this exhaust, so it must have fell out or someone forgot to put it in, but there's only one here and nothing on the back, so I'll have to see if I can find a bolt. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this exhaust off for now. Exhaust gasket broke in half as well. It's had that exhaust gasket leak for a little while. This thing's pretty dirty. I'm gonna clean it up, get some gaskets, and we should have it fixed up. I have it all cleaned up here. The piston looks really good. I don't see any scoring. The intake surface is really clean. The exhaust is as clean as I could get it. The machining marks in here are actually pretty deep on the exhaust, so I don't know if that played into it at all, but it's pretty rough. Hopefully the gasket will take care of that. But yeah, we should be good. Got a brand new exhaust gasket. Both these exhaust bolts have been tightened down. We shouldn't have any more leaks. Okay, there's a gasket, the heat shield. I have another gasket here, and then my intake. So I'm just gonna try to line everything up and get it started. Okay, it's all put back together. Let's see how it runs. Much better. Now I'll have to see how it cuts. Alright, it's a new day. I'm gonna start this thing up for the first time and make a couple cuts. saw is running pretty good now. It definitely needs a new chain, but overall, I'm happy with it. I think that's going to do it for today's video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.